If you've ever looked at your career and thought, I should have this figured out by now, this is for you. Because what most people do next is start scrolling job boards, applying to random roles, and hoping something just clicks. And that's exactly why they stay stuck, confused, second guessing every decision, and feeling pulled in 100 different directions. The problem isn't that you don't have enough options, it's that you don't have a clear way to decide. So instead of starting with jobs, you need to start with what I call a career operating system. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple 4-step process to build real clarity so you can choose the right path with confidence. Most people are playing this game backwards. They start externally, searching job boards, applying to roles that seem interesting, hope something clicks. But here's what actually happens. You get overwhelmed, pulled in multiple directions. You show up like everyone else doing the same approach and get lost in the pile of applicants. And if you do land something, it often doesn't fit long term. This is where things shift. Instead of starting with the market, we start with you, because the truth is career clarity is built internally first, then validated externally. Let's walk through how to actually do that. Step 1, know yourself first. This is the most important step, and it's also the one most people skip. The old way, you start with job titles. What should I do next? What roles are out there? But that leads you to make decisions based on salary, prestige, and what looks good on paper, instead of what actually fits you. Let me give you a quick example. I worked with someone, a high performer. They crushed every role they were in. On paper, they looked incredibly successful, but internally they were completely drained because they built a career around what they were good at, not what actually energized them. And those are not the same thing. This is where we need to start. What we need to do is build real self-awareness. Here's how to begin. Identify your core strengths. Get clear on what gives you energy versus drains you. Identify your zone of genius, what you do better than most everyone else that gives you energy. Define your values. Look back at your past roles and ask, when did I feel aligned? When did I feel stuck? Spend some time reflecting and writing these out. That's super, super critical. The more you put into this, the more you'll get out, by the way. So don't rush it. And this isn't theory, this is pattern recognition. You're looking for signals because once you see these patterns or those patterns clearly, you stop guessing. But here's a catch. Self-awareness alone isn't enough because you can know yourself and still feel stuck making decisions. So the next step is where things start to get practical. Let's talk about step number 2, which is build your career filter. Here's the problem most people run into next. They have some clarity, but they're still saying yes to everything. Every opportunity feels like maybe this could work, and that keeps you stuck in indecision. This is where we need structure. Think about it like this. Trying to choose a career without criteria is like trying to buy a house without knowing your budget, location, or what you actually want. Everything looks possible, and that's the problem. So what we need to do is build your career filter. This is your decision-making criteria, your non-negotiables. Things like the type of work you actually want to do, your level of autonomy, the kind of leadership you want to work under, compensation range, lifestyle alignment, culture environment, growth trajectory. Again, spend some time reflecting and writing these out. The more you put into this process, the more you'll get out of it. I'm going to keep saying that, by the way. So now, something interesting happens when you actually do this. You stop asking, is this a good opportunity? And you start asking, is this right for me? That's a completely different game. And it gives you power because now you can quickly rule things in or out. No more spinning, no more maybe. But even here, a lot of people still feel stuck because they have pieces of clarity, but no real direction. And this is where the system comes together. And by the way, if you're listening to this or watching it really, and realizing you don't actually have clarity on your strengths, values, or direction, start there. I put together a career clarity framework resource that walks you through this step by step. It's the exact process I use with clients to build this foundation. Simply reply in the comment section below, yes, and I'll give you access to the full framework. It'll change how you think about your career. So go down there and comment yes, and I'll get that to you right away. Okay, so let's talk about step number 3. Build your career operating system. This is where everything starts to come together because up until this point, you've done 2 really important things. In step 1, you got clear on your strengths, your energy, your values, your patterns, your zone of genius. In step 2, you defined your non-negotiables, your criteria, your boundaries. But here's the reality. Right now, all of that is still separate. It's insight, it's helpful, but it's not yet usable. This is where things shift. What we need to do is pull up all of that into one clear document, your career operating system. Not a vision board, not a vague dream job idea, a practical decision-making framework you can actually use. So here's how to build it. I want you to create a simple one-page document. And inside that document, you're going to answer 5 questions. That's it. These 5 answers become your operating system. Question number 1, who am I professionally? This comes from step 1. What are your strongest abilities? What problems are you naturally good at solving? What consistently shows up across your career, and what type of leader are you? This is your professional identity, not your title, not your value. Question number 2, what type of work gives me energy? Again, we're tying in step 1. Not just what you can do, but what actually energizes you. Leading, building, strategizing, teaching, creating, problem solving, whatever. Because being good at something doesn't automatically mean it fits you. Okay, now question number 3. What impact do I want to have? What feels meaningful to you? What kind of contribution actually matters? This is where purpose starts entering the picture, not in a fluffy way, in a practical way, because meaningful work creates sustainable motivation. And question number 4, what environment do I thrive in? This comes directly from step 2. What kind of culture brings out your best? Do you need autonomy, collaboration, stability, fast-paced environments, strong leadership, flexibility? This is where you stop trying to force yourself in environments that drain you. Okay, question 5. What am I no longer willing to tolerate? This is a big one, because clarity isn't just about what you want, it's also about what you're done accepting. Things like toxic leadership, constant chaos, lack of growth, misalignment, maybe something like burnout. Your past frustrations contain data. Use them. Now, here's what happens when you answer these 5 questions honestly. You stop having random career thoughts and start having a clear framework. Now you have who I am, what I do best, what energizes me, where I thrive, what matters to me, and what I won't accept anymore. That's your career operating system. This becomes your anchor. Now, when opportunities show up, you're not reacting emotionally, you're evaluating strategically. You're no longer asking, does this seem interesting? Instead, you're asking, does this align with my system? And suddenly, the answer becomes much more obvious. This is where confidence actually comes from. Not having your whole future figured out, but from having a clear way of making decisions. And once you have this, the outside world stops feeling so overwhelming, because now you know exactly what you're looking for. But there's one final piece, because even the best system doesn't work unless you test it in the real world. Let's talk about that next. Step 4, validate it in the market. This is where most people go wrong in 2 ways. They either overthink everything and never take action, or they jump straight into applying randomly without direction. We want neither. What we need to do is test your direction intentionally. This is where the real clarity gets built. Here's how. Have targeted networking conversations, do informational interviews, look at roles through your filter, explore opportunities with curiosity. And here's the key shift. Instead of asking, is this a good job? You start asking, is this aligned with my system? That question changes everything, because now you're not guessing, you're validating. You're refining, you're building confidence through real world feedback. And over time, your clarity gets sharper, your decisions get easier, and your direction becomes obvious. Okay, let's bring all this together. Career clarity is not something you find. It's something you build, step by step, from the inside out. Here's the process. Know yourself, build your filter, create your operating system, and then validate it in the market. That's how you move from confusion to clarity, stuck to moving, uncertain to in control. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, I don't actually have that level of clarity yet, start there. Don't skip that step, because everything we talked about today, your filter, your operating system, your direction, all depends on that foundation. That's that's exactly why I created the Career Clarity Framework. It walks you through this step by step. It's the same process I use with clients to build a real direction. So if you want that, just go down to the comments and type in yes, and I'll send you access to the full framework. Take an hour with it. It'll completely change how you think about your career. So go ahead now and comment yes below, and I'll send that right over. And then if you want help taking it further, turning that clarity into a real strategy, positioning yourself the right way, and actually creating momentum in your job search, that's where I can help directly. You can book a career strategy and positioning review using the link below. Look at where you are, what's not working, and map out a clear path forward. No pressure, just clarity and a plan, all for free. So start with a framework, comment yes below, and then when you're ready, take the next step, because you have more power than you think. Now it's time to use it. And don't forget to save this video for your future reference.